Paycom Center. Brooks Wells, our lead official tonight, along with Kelly Self and Chris Merlo. And we are ready to go from Oklahoma City. Glad to have you with us for this Bedlam matchup between the Sooners and Cowboys.
Mark, both these teams want to get this game going into the 80s. It's going to be fast-paced. Who handles the pressure the best will win the basketball game.
The first possession of the game belongs to the Sooners. Godwin trying to hand it off. Thompson deflected that. Kobe Elvis keeping it alive. Godwin. You get Sam Godwin in the low post, he can be very productive.
A little two-man game. They cleared out the backside. A little 2-on-2 on the wing. And good finish in traffic.
It's the starting five for new head coach Steve Lutz. Thompson, Davis, Brantley, Jennings, and Usman. A Thompson jumper is off from the right wing. And the Sooners and Porter Moser, they're now one of 6 unbeaten teams in college hoops. UC Irvine lost earlier today to fall from the ranks of the unbeaten. And Tennessee, #1 team, just barely able to eke out a win in Champaign over Illinois just a few minutes ago. Firing the pass down low. Usman was trying to back the defender down and then threw a fastball out of bounds.
Well, Oklahoma State will do that on occasion. They want to play fast. When they're in rhythm, they're as good as anybody in the Big 12 as far as a team that will go up and down the floor and pressure defensively. But in the half court, they've got to be a little bit more in rhythm and precise.
Oklahoma State's offense going at a quicker tempo, and really the Sooners as well, as they find Godwin almost in the exact same spot, and he lays that in with the left hand.
Forgotten art, moving without the basketball, and then Usman on the backside. He's got to be aware of moving without the ball.
Second opportunity, and Khalil Brantley, the new point guard for the Cowboys, gets the first points for the Pokes. Fears commits the offensive fouls. He got the right elbow up high on Brantley. Porter Moser, his team now in the SEC, 3-4. His record as the head coach at Oklahoma against the Cowboys, though they did win both meetings last year.
Well, no picnic. The Big 12 obviously is a great conference, one of the best, if not the best, the last 4 or 5 years. But welcome to the SEC. It is a monster of monsters so far this season.
Yeah, the SEC about as good as they have been. Here's a drive. Thompson, tough angle. Godwin kept the hands vertical. That's going against the Cowboys.
Yeah, good job by Godwin. He just went straight up, uses size inside to protect and resist.
Steve Lutz comes over after 1 year at Western Kentucky, 2 years prior to that at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and has coached in the NCAA tournament each of the last 3 years. 2 years with A&M Corpus Christi, and the last year with the Hilltoppers.
A tremendous hire for Oklahoma State. He just came in and brought in his guys, and he's trying to put his system in, which is overplay and pressure.
Godwin has scored the first 6 points of the game for OU.
Well, not bad for a guy who averages 5 per game. Porter's going at him early and often.
And the early defense from the Sooners as well. Godwin making the early statement in this game.
Well, Sam Godwin's a good player, and I've always liked him, but goodness, this is a man that came ready tonight.
He scored the first 6 points of the game for his team, and now adds an impressive block from the left corner. A 3 is off the mark from Devo Davis. Loose ball, and Godwin gets to that.
He was just throwing his body around. Physicality early.
A drive, more. Godwin going after that. He crashes hard to the floor, and it's out of bounds to Oklahoma State. When you and I talked with Porter Moser this morning at the shoot-around, he said, hey, last year, beating Oklahoma State twice was a big deal for an in-state guy like Sam Godwin for OU.
Well, our crack crew brought us a couple double espressos, and I think he had a triple because I've never seen his energy on both ends from Godwin.
Khalil Brantley from just inside the free throw line. And here come the Sooners 3 minutes in. 3. Mike and Pat, thanks very much. We welcome those of you that watch Mississippi State beat McNeese in Tupelo. We welcome you to the Paycom Center in downtown Oklahoma City. Bedlam basketball is back. We're just underway. Here's a three from Patrick Sumnick that's off the mark. Run down by Devo Davis. Along with former Providence head coach Tim Walsh. Mark Neely. Sam Godwin has scored all 6 points for OU in this game. Has an impressive block as well defensively. He's been the early story, but already off the bench for Oklahoma State is Brandon Newman, who's been their best three-point shooter this year.
Well, Oklahoma State now, they have to calm down a little bit in the half court. They're sped up. Oklahoma's defense has been overplaying. They're pressuring the basketball. They're funneling everything into the lane, and Godwin's been protecting. And then on the offensive end, Godwin, Porter's just running a two-man game for him. He's flashing weak side right to the rim. Oklahoma State just has to take a deep breath, feel the moment, and settle down.
Godwin gets a breather 3.5 minutes in as Muhammad Wagee checks in, and now they were late trying to sub Kobe Elvis back in, but that's not allowed. Oklahoma State's going to inbounds here with Brandon Newman. Lynn Taylor's also checked in for the Sooners. Here's Newman. Shot clock's down to 6. Good defense here by the Sooners. Arturo Dean, that's a 16-footer. Got it. Porter Moser thought it was a travel. He was in the ear of Kelly Self, but the bucket there for Dean.
I think he traveled twice there, Mark. He had a little step-back move, shuffle here and there, and the lost art of calling the travel, I think we're seeing tonight early.
Gets the Pokes within 2. Here's Lynn Taylor. He jump stops in the lane. Moore stopped there by Avery, and here come, as the Pokes are getting down the floor, Wagee got a little piece of Dean and is called for the foul. Come to our first timeout. Godwin got the first 6 for the Sooners in this Bedlam matchup. Pokes down to
the city here right before the holidays. No, it's important for the schools, for the tradition, but it's got to work for both coaches, and that's the bottom line. But I think it will, and this is a great sign that it's going on in year 1 of Oklahoma leading the conference.
Davis handoff Dean. Oklahoma State's already attempted 9 shots. They've only hit 2, and now they turn the ball over as Dean loses it to Duke Miles. Bryson Godwin is checked in for the first time for the Sooners. He has it here, as has Luke Northweather. And a 3 from Godwin. And, Tim, that's what he can do well.
That's what he does, and there's no doubt about it. That's why they brought him in. You've got to have somebody coming in off the bench that can knock down those shots, loosen up the defense.
Miles on the hip of Davis. Newman running a bounce pass to Sumnick, who has the 6'11 Northweather in his face. Davis, the lefty, lets it go, and it's off the left side.
Oklahoma's defense right now has been bothersome against Oklahoma State. They can't get into a rhythm. Their cuts are a little bit slow, and they're challenging every bounce, every pass.
Elvis, they look to trap him. He gets the ball back with still 15 to shoot. Miles gets in the air, kicks to Taylor for a corner 3. Northweather got bumped by Devo Davis, and I think it's Devo that's going to get the foul there.
Coming into the season, you didn't know what Oklahoma had. You really didn't, and Porter Moser I don't think did either, but he liked this team, you know, the addition of Moore, but the key has been Fierce. I mean, his ability as a young player, he should be a senior in high school. He reclassified. He's come in right away and energized this whole program, and obviously the trip to the Bahamas has ignited their season.
Sooners trying to start the year 10-0 for the 2nd straight year. Fears backs it up. We played 6 minutes here in Oklahoma City, and Fears getting down the lane but lost the handle, got it knocked away. Here come the Pokes. Dean nearly traveled. The Sooner fans wanted that, but down low, it's laid in with the right hand of Abu Usman.
Something must be with the lighting tonight. The officials are not looking at the feet because that was the 3rd travel they've missed so far in the first 7 minutes.
And it gets the Cowboys back within 3. Elvis lines up a 3. He hasn't been a great three-point shooter this year, at about 30%, but hits the open three to make it a 6-point game.
He's made shots throughout his career, and maybe they're playing the numbers because that time they went underneath the ball screen.
With the right hand, it rolls off for Usman. After the rebound by Chichi Avery, an OU foul. They're going to get Godwin on that.
These games are at such a high level of athleticism and physicality and up and down speed that sometimes the speed of the game, you forget you've got to slow down as an official and look at the feet because you're looking for everything else up top, but sometimes you can be fooled.
Godwin had his back turned on the baseline out of bounds, and they bounced it off his back, and he turned, and some help defense came over from Godwin, but an OU foul.
Well, this is a heads-up play. This is something you do on the playground, and sometimes it works.
Well, Taylor picked up the foul. Well, the third annual Jumpman Invitational tips off Tuesday in Charlotte. North Carolina takes on number 9 Florida at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Gators won again today, so they are still unbeaten. And, of course, the Sooners will be there playing in the Jumpman as well. They'll be taking on Michigan.
They not only won today, Florida. They thumped a good Arizona State team. Walter Clayton Jr. has just been fantastic for the Gators. And
yeah, he had 5 threes today in a game high 25.
How about the Gators? How about the SEC? I mean, you can
it's been crazy.
Spend a whole show talking about how good this league is, and Florida is one of those teams.
Talking with Porter Moser before the game, and he said all the years in the Big 12 where we were considered the best conference, and I get to the SEC in the first year, they're as good as they've been in recent memory. SEC 10-1 today. There's jumper from the free throw line for Jeremiah Fears.
Now, when Fears slows down, he's so fast, he's so athletic, he can get where he wants to go to off the dribble. Sometimes he's a little out of control, will force the issue. That time he just took his time. Great balance.
You mentioned how he reclassified up a year. He just turned 18 years old. 3, Usman, way off the right side. That's the first 3 he's missed this year. He had hit his first 5. Back out, Godwin. He shoots a 3 from the NBA line, and it rims out. And it's batted out. Long pass ahead. Here's Dean. Off balance, he gets fouled.
Good job by Arturo Dean. Just the presence of mind that Godwin took the shot from deep. Nobody rotated back on the weak side, and Godwin kind of looked at his shot. He should have ran back. He saw Dean ran right by him, but it was too late. Porter Moser thought that was kind of a bailout, but you've got to have somebody rotate back. When you take an outside 3, someone's got to come back on the backside to balance the floor.
Dean knocks down the first 3 throw. He's off the bench. 4 points so far tonight. Look at his history at Florida International. FIU led the nation in steals last year with 104. 203 career steals coming into tonight's game for Dean, and he's off the bench with 5 points. Token pressure, and they're into the front court with Miles. Fears. Down to Godwin, he lays it in. Well, it was good defense there by Usman. I thought he was going to get a blocked shot.
Yeah, exactly. I think Fears left the floor a little bit, not knowing what he was going to do, but Godwin is doing a great job of making himself present.
Godwin trap in the corner along with Moore. And it's going to stay with Oklahoma State, but we come to a timeout.
Well, Jeremiah Fears, the energy. He's fearless, but it's been Godwin. Big, strong, and a finisher. Years old, but he plays beyond his years, and he's going to get better and better as the season progresses, too, because he makes some mistakes here and there because he's so young and he's so fearless and he's so talented, but he's got to slow down once in a while, kind of let the game come to him, but you don't want to pull back on someone like him, and Porter Moser just smiles. when you talk about him. But, you know, he's also helped by playing with a couple point guards in Kobe Ellis and Duke Miles. I think that really will help him as the season goes on. Take a little bit of pressure off him. He doesn't have to handle the ball all the time.
Definitely on some NBA draft boards already, Fears. The last Sooner you saw drafted was Trae Young, 5th overall back in 2018. Down to 1, and he's not able to get the shot off, much less it turned into a missed dunk opportunity. And that was 4 turnovers for Oklahoma State.
It was a right idea by Brantley, but he's got to understand, you got to see the clock as a point guard. You got kind of blocked out by it on the baseline. He should have just shot the floater and hoped that Usman was on the back end for a tip in.
So here's Fears, defended by Brantley. Moore wants the ball on the far side. Fears keeping it. A little bit of contact from Brantley there. The ball does have a tendency to stick at times with Fears, who likes to make a lot happen.
Well, as we said before, he will learn as the season moves on, and there is a fine line when you have somebody as talented as him. When you want to pull him back, you have to let him go, and then just try to slowly let him look at his mistakes and let him figure it out himself.
Miles, the defender, fell down, so he sized up a 3 more, and they had one opportunity.
We haven't said much about Jalen Moore tonight, but if you're an Oklahoma fan, you know how important he is. Look, getting rebounds out of his area, the strength, the length in the lane, and the ability to stick his nose into traffic, just extending, playing well beyond his height.
Moore, who was the MVP of the battle for Atlantis, which, of course, the Sooners won in the Bahamas. And Porter Moser told us today, said, hey, I got a lot of new faces on this team. Jalen's one of the returnees, and he is the voice, really. Kind of the alpha dog to a degree for this Sooners team.
He's the voice. Also, he was the man against Arizona. 26 points against Arizona, and just so needed down the stretch, along with Fears.
And he had a double-double against his old Georgia Tech team, 15 and 11. That night in Norman, that's a block by guess who? Moore, outlet, Taylor, picked. Keller was lying in the weeds waiting when Taylor had the head turn.
Yeah, Moore probably should have waited, maybe take a couple dribbles, because you have to see the defense when you make that type of long pass.
Off the hands of Bryce Thompson, who started to cut towards the bucket before he had the pass.
Well, Porter talked to us today, Mark, about playing the 3 guards together and how small they are with the 3 guards, but I don't think it really hurts them. I mean, so far this year it hasn't. I think that pressure on the outside really helps their defense and makes them play bigger than they are.
Both teams turning the ball over at a higher rate than they normally do. Both these teams have been 2 of the best in the nation in turnover margin, and there's another turnover by the Sooners. And that's 5 aside. And then that little bump is going to bring us another foul and already take us to the bonus with a 17 foul against the Sooners. Well, midway through this first half, Porter Moser's team sees Oklahoma State at the line here for a 1-and-1. And Khalil Brantley, who's 78% from the line this year.
Well, both these teams, Mark, want to pressure the basketball and overplay on the wing. They want to overplay that pass. So when you face a team like that offensively, you may take away some of your passing entries and look more to dribble drive into the gaps or dribble handoff. And I think both these teams are doing that on the perimeter, and they're creating some fouls.
Both teams averaging about 11 turnovers a game. So after that miss, it's going to remain as it went out of bounds. That's touched by OU, so a chance for the Pokes to cut into this 8-point deficit. Haven't made a field goal in over 4 minutes. Deflected, Godwin, Elvis, now outlet for Miles, just Thompson back. Block, out of nowhere came Newman. Actually Jennings who blocked that away.
Great chase down by Jennings after the miscue on the baseline out.
And I tell you what, Porter Moser has not been happy with the officiating of this game, but we just saw another instance of that.
Well, just a misread, though, by Oklahoma State. I mean, just a horrible play on the baseline out, but then made up for it on the chase down. You got a guy like Godwin guarding the baseline out of bounds, and he's 2 or 3 feet behind. You've got to ball fake and go away from him. You can't try to throw it over the top. When Brantley's 5'11", I guess they list him at 6'1", but yeah, Godwin's standing there. Good idea with the deflection. Now Porter's going with the double bigs with Norweather, who basically plays like a small forward on the perimeter.
That OU foul was on Glenn Taylor, his second, so he comes out of the game. Godwin had picked up his second foul at the 11:36 mark, so he has been sitting since as well for Oklahoma. Brantley knocks down both free throws this time, and he will come out for Arturo Dean. Dean 6 points off the bench so far tonight for Oklahoma State. 4 of those coming from the line. Look at the trap in the backcourt. Moore, jump stop, kick out. That's a deep 3 on the way, and it's short from Miles. Foul on the floor against Oklahoma State.
Well, normally it doesn't matter when you play in an NBA arena because these guys all have deep range, but I think Oklahoma's stretching a little bit too far. They're taking those NBA threes. They need to take another step or 2 in. I don't think Miles and Elvis and Fears have that range from the NBA 3 line, so I don't know if they're aware. I'm sure they are, but I think just out of habit, they're extending beyond the outside line.
You know, we've seen this when these games are played in NBA arenas, Tim, because you got the 2 lines. The blue line is the college line. The white line is the NBA line. And the player's natural instinct is to stop at the first line. And for these college players, that's the NBA line, and they've been doing that all game.
Well, again, no, most guys in college that are 3-point shooters, that's not a problem. But the Oklahoma guards are just okay at the 3-point shooting line. You know, they have to be in rhythm, and I think right now they're just a little bit out of their range because they're beyond the NBA line.
And Oklahoma State has missed all 4 they have attempted so far tonight. Been 4.5 minutes since Oklahoma State's had a field goal. Here's Godwin, who had the quick start, and he gets an open lane to lay it in. He had the first 6 points of the game for Oklahoma. And now he's added a couple more hoops and has 10.
It's just poor defensive rotation by Oklahoma State just to allow him to catch that on the pick and pop, and nobody rotated over to let the big guy go from the top of the key all the way to the rim unresisted is bad defense.
Jennings with a handoff to Thompson. Lost the handle, and then Newman was a little lazy going after it, and Fears beat him to it. Stuffs it home, and immediately Steve Lutz wants a timeout.
Jeremiah Fears is showing his activity, hustle, and toughness early for the Sooners. Oklahoma State program, the one thing they will tell you, and Steve's teams have always played this way, if you don't play hard, you're out. And that time, Newman kind of nonchalanted it, and Fears went right through him.
Folks desperately needing a field goal here. It has been a while. It's kicked. Haven't made a field goal since just under the 14-minute mark. They're 3 of 14 overall from the field, the Cowboys, and 0 for 4 beyond the 3-point line. Avery. Bounce pass to nowhere. Debo has to run it down, and then stumbling out of bounds, saves it. Shot clock's at 3. NBA 3 up. Off the right side, a Godwin rebound. That's his second rebound tonight. That's Dalton Forsythe, number 7 in the game for the first time for the Sooners. Miles spinning, shooting. Got his own miss and put it back in.
That time Miles just out of control, but no one rotating down on the weak side for Oklahoma State to help on the boards.
6-0 run for the Sooners. That's propelled them from a 6 to a 12-point lead.
Oklahoma is just breaking the seal of this defense, getting into the lane where they want to get to, and then the second effort, well, Oklahoma State watches. Went to him early and often, moving without the basketball, and then defensively protecting the rim, rebounding out of his area, and triggering the fast break.
Yeah, Sam from Ada, Oklahoma, did go to high school not far from here in Southmore High School in Moore, Oklahoma. Now rolls off the rim for Dean, and the struggles continuing for Oklahoma State. That's one area they had been doing all right to that point, was from the free throw line. Forsythe pass, stuff. Godwin again, who now has a dozen.
Great look by Forsythe. He wanted the three in the corner, gave a little jump fake, thought he was going to shoot the runner, but had his head up, saw Godwin presenting himself big.
8-0 run in under 2 minutes for the Sooners, and well, there's the travel you've been waiting to have called, Tim.
Sam Godwin is just moving without the basketball. The one thing as a big guy you try to teach your big guys is to try to seal off, be big, and be ready at all times, and Godwin is that tonight.
It's a season high for him in points already with a dozen, having hit all 6 of his shots from the field. Godwin again, he's been the answer. There's his first shot miss of the game.
No, way too easy. Oklahoma State is just allowing him to get right to the rim. They've got to get in front of that pass.
8 turnovers now. They get 9. Nonetheless, Oklahoma State trying to find some kind of answer. Right now, they just seem to be like a step or two behind.
Well, there's a young Oklahoma player. Made a good play. Forsythe made a good play in the play before. It's a little too hyped up. He'll get another shot, though. He gave Oklahoma nice energy. And wait a minute now. Got the wrong guy coming out. We don't want 6 on the floor anymore, Oklahoma. They did that once already this year, and almost cost him. All right, Porter he got north weather out. He talked about it with us earlier today.
Yeah, that was the end of the Providence game in the battle for Atlantis.
It's amazing, though. Every time the player runs in without checking in, they always blame the coach.
Here's the freshman, Dayton Forsythe, out of Dale, Oklahoma, just east of town. And from the corner, Kobe Elvis.
Well, Oklahoma is feeling it right now. They're doing everything almost perfectly. Starting down at this end, ball pressuring. Oklahoma State not allowing them to reverse the ball. They're running their offense about 30 feet from the basket, and then on the other end, just driving and making the extra pass.
Too strong on that shot attempt. Arturo Dean, but Oklahoma State trying to end the drought. They have.
Well, they can't get the ball going north and south. Everything's east-west, and they're running their offense out by the NBA three-point line. They can't get the ball reversed. They're not looking inside. They can't get it inside because the pressure is getting them. They're playing back on their heels offensively.
Bounce pass. It was a pretty good pass from Brantley, but a little trouble getting to it, and now scrum on the floor. Possession arrows favoring the Cowboys. Just another instance of the OU defense.
Well, it is. It's just a tough look. He was probably open, but the pass was not right up where he could do something with it. That's basically caused by the pressure. Oklahoma State is right now just playing a little bit too fast. They're not comfortable at all because Oklahoma has pressured everything in the half court.
And the shot clock expires. Oklahoma State, unforced error there as they just didn't keep track of the shot clock after the ball went out of bounds.
Well, that's where your leaders have to step up, and everybody's got to point to the clock and understand where it is. Oklahoma knew where the clock was. They got out on the perimeter. Elvis just pressured the heck out of the ball.
Elvis will back it up. We're under 6 minutes to play first half in this Bedlam matchup from Oklahoma City. An 11-0 run right now for the Sooners. Just flipped up by Elvis as he was stumbling and got his feet tangled up. And Brooks Wells says that's a travel.
Well, if Oklahoma State can clean up that middle ball screen a little bit, they can get back in this game because they need some stops to get out in transition because their half court has been not good. That's obvious. But they've got to try to find a way to get some easy baskets, and it has to start with their defense.
Got Brantley and Dean in the game simultaneously here for Oklahoma State. Keller, Newman, Usman on the floor. This is out to Keller, three. Good. Desperate shot. Their first made field goal since the 13:51 mark. Behind the play, Northweather crashed into Dean from behind.
Not sure who they called the foul on. Northweather.
That screen, and Dean had no idea that Northweather was there. And then tried to use Northweather to try to keep him upright, and then brought them both to the ground. So they're going to go take a look at this at the table.
The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything except a foul. Just give the foul to Dean and move on. I mean, he grabbed him, pulled him down. It's nothing different that may happen in the middle of the lane. Except it looks worse when it's out in the middle of the floor and no one else is around. But going back to that last Oklahoma State bucket, Usman, and here you'll see the play, and Northwest's just trying to free up Fears with a little ball screen in the backcourt, and
yeah, there's nothing malicious about that. There's no flagrant foul there.
No. But again, Oklahoma State not up on their toes defensively. I mean, Usman is guarding Northweather, I believe, so he's got to be up when his man's up setting a ball screen in the backcourt, at least telling him that it's coming, not letting him get blindsided from the rear. But going back to that last Oklahoma State bucket, the reason they got an open three finally is that they went inside. And they finally got it, and they need to keep doing that. They need to go big into Usman. He's good enough inside where he's a capable passer, and if he feels the pressure, or if Oklahoma does double him, he will be able to pitch it back out and get something open.
The call on the floor stands.
All right, so it's just a common foul. It is foul number 2 on Arturo Dean. He is the first Cowboy to 2 fouls. Meanwhile, on the other side, Oklahoma's got a few players with 2 personal fouls. As Godwin and Taylor each have 2. It's the 7th team foul against the Cowboys, so it's going to put Northweather at the line. This will be just the 2nd free throw attempt of the game for the Sooners. And he misses the front end. Here's Keller. 3 left side, Newman. Tipped around, winds up with Fears, and he's fouled. Now we're going to go to the other end for a 1-and-1. Well, the 23rd annual Women's Jimmy V Classic and All-ACC affair this year. Tomorrow at ABC, Louisville hosts number 22 NC State at 1 Eastern from the Yum Center. And to donate to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, go to v.org.
NC State's won 3 in a row. Crept into the top 25, and Louisville always has a very good program. But going back to that last possession now for Oklahoma State, again, getting away from what they need to do. They made 4 or 5 passes in that half court, never got inside the 3-point line.
Sooners missed the front end for the 2nd straight time. Avery 3.
Well, there's no way they're getting back in this game with 1 pass and a contested NBA 3.
Jalen Moore 3. That's an NBA range, and that doesn't draw iron. I think this 3-point line, the NBA 3-point line, is messing with both teams. Keller banks it in.
Well, that's what they need to do. They got to stop finally, and they got on transition. That's what they need to do, get some stops.
Timeout Sooners. Under 4.5 to play first half from Oklahoma City.
The heat, the pressure. There's no one better at coaching defense than Coach Sutton. I'm so glad he finally got into the Hall of Fame.
Eddie's son Scott, a holdover coach on this staff. And out of the timeout, 3 from the corner for Elvis.
Excellent execution by Oklahoma against that soft pressure. And got it middle, skip, opposite, knock it down.
Newman in a crowd draws the foul. There is Scott Sutton.
Exchange X and O. I used to try to learn from him, and then all of a sudden we had to play him once, and he just started scowling at me down the other end. I'm like, wait a minute, we're supposed to be friends. He goes, no,
not right now, not for the next 40 minutes.
No. What a great man and fantastic coach.
Brandon Newman, transfer. Was at Western Kentucky last year with Steve Lutz. Prior to that, 4 years at Purdue. Free throws are kind of keeping Oklahoma State in the game, down 13. They've hit 9 of 11.
Well, with 2 assists and 10 turnovers, it's hard to hang in this game, but they put their head down. Steve Lutz is not going to let them back down. They're going to keep going until they get into a rhythm, but it's got to start down here because the half court, I don't know if they're ever going to be comfortable enough in the half court to score enough to win, but if they get their defense going and get out and transition a little bit, that will loosen things up.
This is a 1-and-1 for Fears. And he hits the front end. Well, coming up on the K Jewelers halftime reports at the intermission. Auburn rolled past Ohio State. A hot start for the Jayhawks. They hosted North Carolina State at Allen Fieldhouse today. That and more coming up on the K Jewelers halftime report. Just under 4 minutes to play in this first half from Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma State needs to break the seal from the three-point line, get it inside a little bit, and then also change sides of the floor to make Oklahoma's defense shift.
There's a paint touch by Keller, but he takes it back out. Shot clock to 6. Keller lost it, gets it back. 3, Brantley off the heel. Newman gets the long rebound. His pass. Last touch by Miles, who was about to intercept that and head the other way. Porter Moser disagreeing with that call.
Just feel the heat here, Mark, and that's a foul on Oklahoma State. They got away with it, but you can't be. They're giving them a dose of their own medicine. This is the way Oklahoma State wants to play defense in half court, but Oklahoma is just attacking everything, and their rotations are real good. Even when the ball does go inside and they dribble penetrate, the backside's doing a great job of rotating down, helping the helper.
Brantley underneath. Laid in. Nicely done that time by Robert Jennings, the second.
Good job by Brantley, and I like that they're playing Keller with him on the outside. A little bit more physicality at the guard spot. They're doing a good job of keeping their dribble, trying to keep their head up, finding the open man on the penetration.
8 points in the paint now for Oklahoma State. Godwin knocked away by Keller, loose. They're going to say tie up, so possession arrow Oklahoma.
To me, Mark, that's a sign of a well-coached team of in-game adjustments, and Steve Lutz has adjusted to that middle ball screen. That time they did a good job of rotating on the backside, not allowing Godwin that free reign to the rim.
Sooners are going to check in Bryson Godwin for Miles. Godwin picked up his second foul at the 11:36 mark and had come out of the game, but comes back in here. But right off the inbounds, another whistle. And this should get the Sooners into the double bonus.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. When two teams come at you like this defensively with a lot of length and athleticism, it is very difficult to referee a game like this because the whole thing looks choppy because every pass is contested. You're up on the basketball. You're up overplaying on the wing. And then when the ball comes into the post, there's 3-4 guys attacking the basketball. So you could basically almost call a foul on every play.
Choppy is the right word for that tonight. It fits. 1 and 2 for Jalen Moore from the stripe. Here comes Miles quickly back in for Godwin. So Godwin got about 4 seconds on the floor that time before the foul call and goes back out with his 2 fouls. Avery spins into the lane, jump stop, hits Godwin and Moore, pivots back. Brantley this time. Oklahoma State is getting some paint touches and looks here, though.
They are, but everything's contested. Oklahoma is not relenting. They're protecting the rim.
Miles, NBA three-point attempt off the heel. 3 left side, another NBA 3. I think that white line, which is the NBA line, is throwing both these teams off. They're all shooting the NBA 3 and not at the blue line, which is the college 3.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's another one.
Under 2 minutes to go in this first half. 3 left side. That time it's short. Punched out of bounds. Who's going to get it? Both teams get the three-point shooting 10% for Oklahoma State. 1 of 11. OU 29%, 4 of 14. Double on the inbounds. Shot off the mark from Chichi Avery, and now it's back over to the Sooners.
Good job on Moore, just protecting and rotating. Everything around the rim, even when Oklahoma State gets it down there, Oklahoma rotates over and they get big and protect going straight up.
Oklahoma State came in shooting 35% from beyond the arc. OU shooting 37%. No team near that tonight, but Godwin has been near the rim all night, Tim.
He's big. They're looking for him. He presents himself, and Oklahoma State's allowing him to get that easy position right at the rim.
This time, Chichi Avery from beyond the NBA line knocks it down.
And when you let a guy like Godwin catch the ball right in front of the rim, it's too late. You've got to play your defense much earlier than Oklahoma State is.
14 points for Godwin in this first half. 17 is his career high. He had a great chance for points, 15 and 16 there, and couldn't get it over the rim. Sooner ball.
Godwin is just rolling to the rim and making himself big, and no one rotates over. And you see on the backside, Avery is just a spectator. He might as well have bought a ticket. He's just watching instead of rotating over. He's got to get in front of Godwin from that weak side help.
A turnover by Oklahoma State moments ago. They're 11th of the first half. They came into this game averaging 11 a game. And they have that total with under a minute to play in the first half. We're going to get a foul here. And the blocking foul. And Keller's slow getting up. So 2 shots coming here. Second foul on Jameer and Keller. Coming up Tuesday night, Bowl Mania matches. Bowl Mania, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app.
How about Rich Rodriguez going back to West Virginia?
You know, he actually said in the press conference the other day, he said, I made a mistake leaving here to go to Michigan.
That's what they all say when they come back. What's he going to say? I'm glad I left.
Excellent point, Tim Welsh.
My man Scott Frost said the same thing, but I believe him at UCF.
Avery in the lane. Brantley fouled from behind by Moore.
That's what Bill Belichick said, too. He said, it's always been a dream of mine to coach in college football.
I'd never heard that dream, but I guess he articulated
meanwhile, he's
that.
been in the NFL for 50 years.
Yeah.
But you got to love the coaches at the press conferences.
Jaleel Brantley, transfer from LaSalle. 3 years there, started the last 2 years. Was offered by Oklahoma State out of high school, out of the Bronx, New York, our Savior Lutheran, and stayed on the East Coast of LaSalle now. Season in Stillwater, and he hits the second free throw to make this 14-point game.
Oklahoma State has not played well. That's obvious. But they're still playing hard. And if they can figure a couple things out at halftime, they've hung around enough where they can get back in this game in the second half. But I'm impressed that they're still, their body language is good. They're still playing tough on the defensive end. They can just clean up a couple things, including this middle ball screen.
Three from the corner. Northweather just before the buzzer.
Now, that's one thing you got to clean up. You can't leave Northweather, and Avery again just looked at him in the corner. Look at, he's in no man's land and just way too late. That's great offense by Oklahoma and awareness that the three-point shooter was hanging out in the corner.
And it's a 17-point lead at the intermission for Oklahoma, 43-26 over Oklahoma State. Coming up, we'll send you to the studio with Phil Murphy, Seth Greenberg, and Malcolm Huckabee after the break. A three-point line here on this NBA floor. Did not shoot the ball all that well from the three-point line, especially OSU, just 2 of 12. And Godwin, after that big first half, Sooners will get the ball to start half number 2 as they led throughout in the first half and are trying to stay unbeaten. Trying to go to 10-0 for the second consecutive season.
Well, there's got to be some analytics genius in the second row behind both benches that can figure out that the numbers drop drastically when you go beyond the NBA line to the college line, and you can figure that out a little bit. The shot selection, though, for Oklahoma State has been brutal, but it's because of Oklahoma's defense. They've got to try to get the ball from side to side and then try to get it inside.
All right, here we go into half number 2 from Oklahoma City. Fears to Godwin. And Godwin picking up right where he left off, 16 points.
Steve Lutz is picking up where he left off with the early sub. He's got the thumb out, and here comes Newman in. There's someone who didn't rotate properly, and again, that's just way too easy.
Biggest lead of this game for the Sooners now at 19. A battle underneath. Usman trying to get to the rim is fouled.
You got to make a decision on the pick and roll here. One thing you got to do on this pick and roll, it's not even a pick and roll. It's just they're sending the second defender, and what you have to do is you have to rotate from the weak side and then rotate down. You have to help the helper, and then until everyone recovers, then you go back to the basketball, go back out onto the perimeter to your original man. But if you allow the ball right to that restricted area line to a guy like Godwin, and he catches it with free vision to the rim, you're dead.
Usman misses the first from the line. The free throw line kind of kept Oklahoma State in the game in the first half.
If I'm Oklahoma State, I would just go underneath that screen and make Oklahoma try to beat you from the outside. They're worried about the dribble penetration into the rim. They're worried about the three, but Usman's on the outside. He's really in no man's land. He can't guard those guards anyway. He's out there. But then he's letting Godwin just roll right down the middle of the floor, and Oklahoma's doing a great job of finding it.
Fears pull-up jumper way too strong. Raced ahead by Brantley. Jennings got knocked off balance and shoots a wild shot that goes in. And Steve Lutz is like, where's the foul on that one?
Well, probably lucky they didn't call a foul because it would have been on the floor.
Yeah, and he would have had to shoot 2 more free throws. Elvis, little hesitation. Kick, 3, right corner. Rims out for Jalen Moore. Brantley almost dragged that pivot foot. Usman trying to back down Godwin. Some help defense for Moore from the backside. Moore able to get a block. Fears turns on the Jets, and then a little hesitation, and the defender Jennings flew by, and the easy lay-in for Fears. The other way, Thompson. I don't know if they got a hand on that or not, but it was well short. Here's a lob. Moore crashing into him as Jennings, and a foul on Robert Jennings.
Well, the defense continues to impress for Oklahoma. You see Godwin just builds that wall down low, and Usman just probably tried to back his way in with nothing there. And when that happens, you get the defense off balance. And Porter Moser was very concerned about Oklahoma State's ability to run not only off misses but off makes. And they've done a great job of just sprinting back and making them play 5-on-5.
Six of 10 from the line tonight for the Sooners. They'll make it 7 of 11 with a Moore hitting shot number 2 to make it a 19-point game again.
Oklahoma State trying to get something going in the half court, playing the 2-point guards together.
Dean and Brantley, the 2 guards. Jennings, 3, too long. Godwin aggressive for the rebound, and Godwin pulls down his 5th board of the night.
I will tell you this, if Porter Moser can bottle whatever Godwin had for lunch today, they will be a force in the SEC. That's exactly what they needed, a guy inside because of their lack of size.
There has not been much of that, though, for Oklahoma State tonight. Usman able to get position down low and score. And they get a quick turnover. Pass Debo. Offensive foul, no basket. Jennings behind the play.
Now Jennings, they got caught for sealing his man off here. He's just standing there, and Moore runs over his back. I think that could be neglected.
Well, Steve Lutz's team trying to find some kind of momentum here, and that was going to be one of the few easy lay-ins for them all night. That for Debo Davis, and they didn't get that opportunity.
Doesn't that happen when you shot goes up? Isn't that a block out? I don't know.
I didn't see a foul there either.
He just stopped dead.
Yeah.
The guy came up off his back.
And Fears on the back cut lays it in.
Well, that's deflating for Oklahoma State when something like that happens, and you've got to react better defensively, and they did not. And here comes the man that's everywhere tonight.
What a night for Sam Godwin, who is doing a little and sometimes a lot of everything for the Sooners tonight.
By the way, he averages 5 points a game, but he only has 3 blocks on the season. He looks like one of the best shot blockers in the SEC, and then the nice backdoor cut with the backside cleared out.
Godwin going to take a seat. I think there's something to the fact that he's playing Oklahoma State tonight. He's had a little extra juice. The native of Oklahoma taking this one very seriously tonight. Not that he doesn't the other games, but Godwin has stepped it up. Sooner foul there, stopping it. 16:24 to play in this second half. Northweather picked up that foul. Kind of working on Godwin's back there on this near the bench. Usman spinning. Now he's doubled. Moore's been part of that double team all night in the low post. And they're going to say he got into his cylinder. That's going to be a Sooner foul. And Usman took a bump to the nose as well.
That was a good job by Usman, though. He just stepping through that double. They didn't seal it off down low, and Weather just was not tough enough. Usman went right through his chest.
Doesn't look like anything of a serious nature with Godwin. He's back sitting on the bench. Dribble ahead. Brantley got side spun around and foul there. We had a choppy first half, and we're starting the second half in the same fashion here, Tim.
Well, aggressive defenses. Yeah. That's going to happen. And you have 2 point guards on the floor for Oklahoma State. You have 3 on the floor for Oklahoma. So you've got a lot of activity on the perimeter defensively.
22-point lead, largest of the game for the Sooners. Ball fake. Avery, kick, and there's an easy land for Brantley.
Well, that's what they have to do, though, Mark. They've got to try to break the seal, get the ball going from side to side, and then attack, get it in the lane, and make that extra pass before Oklahoma rotates.
Put in by Duke Miles at the other end.
Miles is certainly an impressive player. He's adjusted to playing on this level.
Elvis, they got numbers here. Pass ahead. Behind the back, just flipped it. It was behind Fears, and they turned it over right back to the Cowboys. Brantley. Usman again gets a double. Dribbles out of it. Dean. Left post, spin. Avery, double there. Usman to the bucket. Couldn't handle the pass, but it's knocked out of bounds off the Sooners. Sam Godwin, 16 points, just one off a career high. He's had a couple of blocks. Godwin with 5 rebounds in his 19 minutes. And the Sooners have really been in command throughout. They've never trailed tonight. Folks trying to find something with a shot clock down to 2. Down to 1. That's a 3. Offensive rebound, Avery. Avery trying to push back Miles. Godwin's there as well. Facing up Avery. Baseline jumper. Got it. Chi Avery. The transfer from UCF.
Well, Avery can do that if he moves without the ball. Sometimes he stands around on the perimeter too much, but he's got a good game down on that baseline. He's long and athletic.
It's the Cowboys back to within 20. Elvis. Shot clock's at 5. Elvis towards the lane. Draws some contact.
That time Oklahoma State did a flat switch on the ball screen on the perimeter, and Elvis just said, I'm going to tee you up, Usman, and if someone rotates over to help me, you can't guard me one-on-one, and he got all the way to the rim.
Third foul on Usman. He joins Jennings with 3 personal fouls for the Cowboys. On the Oklahoma side, nobody to 3 fouls at this juncture. They got a number with 2. Well, the 3rd annual Jumpman Invitational tips off Tuesday in Charlotte with North Carolina taking on number 9 Florida. Unbeaten Florida. 7 Eastern on ESPN. This Oklahoma team will be playing the following night on Wednesday in Charlotte in the Jumpman against Michigan.
Interesting who will emerge in the ACC besides Duke as one of the top teams. Carolina, good players, but a little undersized right now. They've got to figure that out, especially defensively.
Godwin finds the open man. Good ball movement by the Sooners. Fears backs it up. Still 15 to shoot.
Good recovery on the weak side by Oklahoma State.
Fears flips it up.
Summick did a good job of staying with Fears after the switch.
Newman. Brandon Newman. It's his first field goal of the night. He had missed his first 3 from the field. All the previous attempts have been 3-point shots from Newman. Miles leans in and scores. Just got right underneath Dean.
He did a pretty good job with containing him. Dean did a good job on the dribble handoff. He went underneath the screen, but he just let Miles get to his right hand.
Sooners have hit 5 of their last 6 shot attempts from the field. Here's Sumnick going baseline. They trap again. That's a 3. NBA 3 goes down for Marcellus Avery.
Well, that's what Oklahoma State needs to do. Oklahoma is trapping on the catch, not on the bounce, and a lot of teams do that anymore because they're worried about giving up that 3 on the weak side, but Oklahoma does a good job of recovering. That time Oklahoma State just passed it quickly out of the double and reversed the floor.
Cowboys on a 7-2 run. Still trail it by 17. Elvis. Godwin. And it's a new career high for Sam Godwin as he has 18 points.
Continues to rebound out of his area, just throwing his body around inside under control.
Avery a miss, trying to go back up, and Chi Avery has been an offensive answer here the last 3 or 4 sequences for OSU.
Sam Godwin came ready to play, and it's continued in the second half. In an array of different ways, just sticking his nose into everything, not minding his own business.
Until earlier this year.
Nothing like the good old game program. Get your autographs. You know, it's just like the newspaper in the morning. Like like the feeling, Mark. You doesn't have to be the.
Do you still get a hard copy newspaper every day, Tim? No, you're in the 21st century in that regard. Yeah, okay.
You know, I'm still a little bit of a New Yorker at heart. I'll pick up the Post once in a while just to read those sports headlines of how the Yankees messed up and the Mets are buying everybody and the Giants and Jets stink.
That's the New York sports scenes in a nutshell right there. Thank you. Chi Avery at the line. He knocks down both free throws. Avery has 7 second-half points of the 9 he has scored tonight. Going to trap and get something going here. But it's into the front court with Northweather.
Yeah, Oklahoma State has played hard. I mean, I don't think Steve Lutz can say, you know, we're not giving it our best. It's just that Oklahoma's defense is taking them out of what they wanted to do, and they have not solved this middle ball screen or Sam Godwin.
Threading a pass to Moore, who stumbles. But there is an Oklahoma State foul. Oklahoma State came in at 6-2. Their 2 losses being 1 in the Charleston, actually 2 in the Charleston Classic, to Florida Atlantic and to Nevada. Got a win over Seton Hall in the Big 12 Big East battle in their last game last Sunday, and really played an excellent first half against Seton Hall. It started the second half well, still won that game. That ball's tipped into the backcourt by Keller, so it allows Feathers to go back to get it. The shot clock gets to 6. A catch and shoot 3, Elvis.
They've been a machine on offense. You take one thing away, they go to the second, the third option, and this Oklahoma team is very well schooled.
Well, neither team has been great at three-point shooting, but an individual exception has been Kobe Elvis, as he is 5 of 6 in three-point shooting. He really has been the hot shooter from beyond the arc.
Oklahoma State extending a little bit too much on the driving kicks on ball side. You've got to stay home with that shooter in the corner and be able to recover and contest. And again, Oklahoma has done a real good job going to their second and third options in their action, and Oklahoma State really has not had an answer defensively.
I mentioned Kobe Elvis, 5 of 6 three-point shooting. The rest of his teammates, a combined 2 for 11 beyond the arc, and Kelly Self comes over and said, "No, you're on the baseline." It's going to be Oklahoma State ball. backcourt for Keller. Newman. Sumnick into the lane. Avery. Foul going up for the flush.
It's a little bit hard to tell there, but it looked like Oklahoma was trying to show a little zone. And Elvis just lost track. Unless he just got caught ball watching. It looked like he was playing the top of that zone. Avery just basket cut behind him.
Avery has been a big part of the offense here in the second half for Oklahoma State. $11 points for Avery. And Taylor has come in for Jalen Moore. Moore hasn't had a ton of shot attempts tonight, just 4. Avery misses both, and it's tipped into the arms of Godwin. Here's a Godwin 3. It's a little bit long. Offensive board, Taylor. Here's a back it up as we're nearing the midway point of this second half.
Taylor's giving some solid minutes. Just comes in and a lunch pail guy off the bench. Doesn't need the basketball to be effective.
Oh, a step back 3 for Jeremiah Fears, and the freshman in double-digit scoring now.
Forget it. If he starts doing that, Mark, that's not fair. Yeah. He's unguardable because he's got the good stroke. He's going to be a good shooter. He hasn't been consistent yet, but you can see it's there.
His first 3 of the night, 13 points, so he's now been in double figures in all 10 games this year for the Sooners. Taylor a little too physical, according to Quedley Self, and that's
Jeremiah Fears. We talked about his ability to get where he wants to go to, but now he's adjusted to the NBA 3.
Yeah. That was it. He stepped behind the white line. That's the NBA 3.
Look at that stroke there. That's good. You know, sometimes he does get out of rhythm with his shot. Porter talked about it earlier today that he thinks he's going to be a good shooter, but you know, sometimes he gets rushing his shot. He's off balance a little bit, but that time it was picture perfect.
And the front end missed by Brantley. So a game that number 13 Oklahoma has led throughout. Another Fears 3. Usman was trying to haul the rebound in. Northweather knocked it free. Usman eventually able to collect it near the baseline. Usman, long 2, short, long rebound off the floor taken by Godwin. Sam now nearing a double-double to that 8th rebound of the day. Northweather.
Good recovery on the closeouts.
Taylor just threw it right to Khalil Brantley. Brantley on the move. Kick, Newman, 3 on the way. It's long.
Better job down at this end, though. Oklahoma State last couple possessions doing a good job on a pick and roll, and then on the recovery after the skip pass to the weak side.
3 from Kobe Elvis off the mark.
I don't think Porter likes those last couple possessions. The quick threes not needed at this time in the game.
Brantley getting close to the rim, but couldn't get it over the rim. And Oklahoma defense, especially in the paint tonight, Tim, has been very effective.
Well, it's too early to eat clock, obviously, but you still want to just keep running your offense. You want to shoot on the second pass against a contested defender.
Elvis kick, Taylor 3. Godwin knocked it out of bounds. So it's Oklahoma State ball. Godwin was trying to sell official Kelly Self that went off Brantley. It's one of the few things that hasn't gone Godwin's way tonight.
Too many threes the last few possessions for Oklahoma. Good subs. They need some fresh looks. Although,
you know what? Godwin was right. I think they went off the fingers of Brantley.
You can't have everything in life, Mark.
It's been a pretty good night regardless. Godwin is going to stay in. Northweather comes out, and now Taylor comes out. Godwin was coming off the floor, and Porter Moser said, no, you need to stay.
They'll get him the break at the under 8.
Which we're getting close to. Been over a 3-minute scoring drought now for Oklahoma State. 8 minutes to go. Newman, 14-footer, got it.
Well, that's good offense by Oklahoma State. Good ball movement, good player movement, reversing the floor, getting that ball into the lane with a cutter from the weak side.
That's the Sooners, who are on about a 2.5-minute scoring drought. Fears going to get past Newman, gave him a shot to the neck, it looked like, or the face. That's going to be the call. And the foul is offensive on Fears. Timeout with the under 8. And a 20-point lead for the Sooners. Point win in Tupelo over McNeese. It has been an incredible beginning to the non-conference play for the SEC.
I don't think there's much debate on that. I mean, every year there's top conferences wave their flag, we're the best, and there's a lot of debate usually. I don't think there's much debate so far this season.
In and out for Jennings. It's been that kind of night for the Pokes, who are down 20. That rolls off. Moore couldn't bring it in, and it goes over to Oklahoma State. Chichi Avery's been a second-half spark for Oklahoma State. He comes back in for Robert Jennings. Dean going to take the 10-footer, but left that short.
Godwin got knocked down and still was able to get up and secure the rebound.
And that was Godwin's 10th rebound, so it's a double-double for him tonight. Forsythe, the freshman, fouled and will shoot 2. They have Oklahoma in their inaugural season in the SEC for Porter Moser's team. On a big Oklahoma State comeback, they're going to add to this what the SEC has done. If they win this one, they'd be 14-2 as a conference against the Big 12. They have picked on the ACC as well this year.
It's just, it hasn't ended. And you watched Oklahoma in the Bahamas, and they eked out that early win in the first round, 2-point win over Providence. And sometimes that's all you need. You win a close one, and then you win. After that, you beat Arizona, a real confidence booster, and a tough Louisville team, and then they have not slowed down since. They're just gaining momentum. You could see they're playing with such confidence. They came out tonight and just said, there's no way you're not staying with us at all. We're not letting you think you can be on this court with us, and so far, it's worked.
Avery, fade away. A little over 6 minutes to play. Oklahoma has led throughout tonight. Godwin leading them with 18, and Jalen Moore, an emphatic flush.
That was a man's move. And the thing about Oklahoma is tonight, they've done this without pretty much Jalen Moore being quiet all night. And nothing, just everybody else has stepped up, but he said, okay, I'm going to get mine in with a little enthusiasm.
And 7 points for Jalen Moore tonight. So for him, a bit of a quiet night. He came in averaging 18 a game to lead OU in scoring. But OU has seen a handful of his teammates compensate for that tonight with big nights.
Yeah, it's just kind of been par for the course for Oklahoma State, just letting someone dribble drive from the opposite wing all the way to the rim against a set defense, and no one rotates over at all just to even foul him or step in front of him and make him give it up. And that time Oklahoma State just waved at him.
And the points in the paint decidedly favoring Oklahoma, 34-14. And if you just had to look at one stat tonight that tells the story of this game, that might be it. That probably is the best one. Godwin has a career high 18 tonight. besting his former career high of 17, which he did against Houston earlier this year at the end of last season in March. Godwin on the defensive side now, but that time Abu Usman able to finish.
Usman has some pretty good moves down low. It's just that he hasn't had much space in there to operate.
There's not been much space in that paint Oklahoma State all night. That OU defense, especially in the low post, Tim, they have doubled everybody, it seems like, once they get in the low post tonight.
They double them, but they also make them catch the ball outside of their sweet spot. They play their defense early. They do a really good job of not letting the big guy carve out good space right at the rim, where Oklahoma on the other end, offensively, they've done just that, where Godwin has said, I'm catching the ball right at the rim and you have no chance to stop me because I'm right in front of the basket.
Godwin gets a nice hand as he comes out of the game for Sooner fans in attendance. Now, the 23rd annual Women's Jimmy V Classic is an all-ACC affair this year. Tomorrow on ABC, Louisville will host number 22 NC State at 1 Eastern at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. If you'd like to donate to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, go to v.org.
Well, today was one of the better December days we've seen in a long time in college basketball, men's and the women's games. There's been some terrific matchups all season long this early in the year, and that should be another good one.
They slip under the 5-minute mark. Dean, handoff, going for the flush. Abu Usman. Usman now with 7 points. 4 in the last couple of trips down the floor. I think that 9 points for
He's got good hands. Yeah. He's big. He's strong, and they finally dribble penetrated into the gap and giving him a little bit of an angle to catch the ball near the basket.
Miles turning the corner, waits, and got it to go in. Nice move athletically by Duke Miles.
Well, he's adjusted well to this level coming from High Point, and
yeah, spent 3 seasons at Troy and then last year at High Point. Miles looks like an excellent addition for the Sooners as Dean's going to come out. Steve Lutz's team been trailing from the get-go tonight. Porter Moser's club trying to go to 10-0 for the 2nd straight year. They went 10-0 to start last year. Went to the Jumpman Invitational, lost to North Carolina. They're going to go looking at this point like they'll be 10-0 heading to the Jumpman on Wednesday against Michigan. 10-0 this year. Fears down the lane and with the left hand.
Fears is the special freshman, but you look at Miles and Ellis, and the top 2 rated players with efficiency rating coming out of the portal last year. And it's very important, because obviously you don't have a lot of time when these guys go into the portal to decide who can play at this level, and they've hit it right with Elvis and Miles.
Jalen Moore's lob attempt was off the mark, but they're going to get it back. We come to a timeout. Under 3.5 minutes to play. Bedlam from Oklahoma City. To the national championship game, lost to Kansas. Yeah, so that was a Billy Tubbs team in '88. Last time Oklahoma won by 25 or more against the Pokes.
Well, I think Steve Lutz will solve this moving forward. He's a proven winner, you know that, and it's just some nights it just doesn't find its way, and this is a really good Oklahoma team. This is not sometimes teams start 9-0 and they're fake, but this is not one of those. This is a really good, well-oiled machine. The parts fit. You've got a lot of toughness. The guards really play well together, and defensively they just are very in sync. They're connected, and then tonight had the X factor in Godwin.
Bryce Thompson trying to fight his way, and he puts it up in his first basket of the night. He was 0 for 5 from the field, and he only played in 8 minutes in their last game against Seton Hall because of foul trouble. Knocked away. Sumnick fouled from behind by Jalen Moore. Well, statistically for Oklahoma State, this has been their worst shooting game to this point, with under 3 minutes to go. And I think a lot of that, though, Tim, goes to the Oklahoma defense tonight.
There's no doubt about it. Their defense took Oklahoma State right out of what they wanted to do early and just forced the ball to the sideline. They overplayed on the wing. They pressured the basketball. They rotated on ball screens, and when the ball did go inside, they either doubled it in the post or switched and rotated and helped the helper, and then they rotated quickly back out to the perimeter. So Porter Moser grades out his defense tomorrow. He's going to be very pleased because they pretty much did everything they needed to do in all aspects.
Ball's going to stay with Oklahoma State after the missed free throw.
You know, it's interesting you discuss where does Oklahoma fit in the SEC, and that's a tough question. Obviously, you got to start with Tennessee, Auburn, and Kentucky, and then they're in that next group. They're in that next group with Florida, and you know the names. Alabama is in that group as well. They might be in the top group. Chris Beard's done a good job at Ole Miss. I mean, there's not any weak links in that league.
No, not at all. In the preseason coaches poll in the SEC, OU was picked 15th out of 16 teams, with Vandy being behind them in 16. Forsythe gets to the ball. Godwin, quick pass, ball movement. Fears couldn't finish it with the reverse. Godwin, give him a career-high 20 points tonight.
Steve Lutz is going to go home and say, wait a minute. We stopped this guy and that guy, but Sam Godwin got 20 on us. You know, that's when you know that it wasn't your night, but he earned it.
NBA 3 swish. Chi Avery has had a fine second half. He's the only scorer in double figures tonight for Oklahoma State with 13. That was his third made three. 11 of the 16 Avery have come in this second half. Avery again goes up, scores, and one.
This is the way they want to play. They want to push the ball, makes or misses, and clean up their defensive coverage on the ball screens in the middle of the floor, and then a little bit better executing that half-court offense. A little tighter on what they want to do, because you'll face teams like this in the Big 12. There's no doubt about it. Teams that want to get up and press you, but Oklahoma's a different cat. I mean, they're smaller, but they're annoying because they're so quick on the perimeter, and they don't have any plodding guys. And tonight, their biggest guy, who not their quickest guy, was the most damaging in Godwin.
So Godwin just come off the floor. Nice hand from the Oklahoma fans. A hug from Porter Moser in a game that, you know, means a lot. As Sam Godwin driving lane in there for Arturo Dean. Godwin's going to finish with a career-high 20 points on 10 of 14 shooting, 14 rebounds. He just missed a career high in rebounds. 15 is career high. And time is called. Apparently, they got some moisture on the floor. Brooks Wells gets a towel to wipe that up. And Porter's Moser's team going to start 10-0 for the second straight year.
Team's got a lot of toughness, though. I think last year's team down the stretch in the Big 12, they took some hits. They had some guys injured. Not sure they had the same toughness they have right now, especially on the perimeter defensively.
With the shot clock expiring, there is Jeremiah Fears, and the freshman in his first Bedlam matchup, 17 points.
17 points, and he's 18 years old. It's amazing. He should be a senior in high school. He's out there playing at a high level of confidence.
The Dean 3 makes it a 25-point game. Looking like this is going to equal the largest point victory got it down to 15. 80-65. Oklahoma wins it. The number 13 team in the nation. Tim stays unbeaten.
Impressive from Tapp.